Voice is audible, Mr. Nikhil. Audible now. Now it is audible. Nikhil, now it is audible now. Kritibas, is it not audible now? Okay, let's start about Microsoft Certified Solutions Expert, MCSE, Windows Server Administration. So what is this Windows Server? What are the features of Windows Server Administration? So how this course is useful for you? I am going to discuss today's session. See, the most widely used operating system is Windows because Windows is a graphical user interface. So anybody they can easily understand, easy to learn, easy to work on Windows. Because everybody knows, everybody having a laptop, you have a Windows operating system like Windows 7 or Windows 8 or Windows 7 or Windows 10. So depending upon your requirement, you install your OS, you are working. So in Windows, we have we have two types of operating systems: client OS and server OS. So remember this point. In Windows, we have two types of operating systems. One is client OS, one is server OS. So what is server? What is client? So what is server? What is client? So for example, we are using client operating systems. Windows 10, Windows 8, Windows 7, Windows XP. These are the client operating systems. So what are the server operating systems in Windows? 2019 latest version, 2016. These are the versions. So the first version of Windows servers released in 1997, that is NT 4.0. So next version 2000, 2003. So every version they will add new features. They will release the operating systems. So now the latest version server of Windows is 2019 version. So what is server? What is client? This is the main point. They will ask the question. What is server? What is client? So server provides resources to clients. Clients access the resources from servers. So simply you can explain. Server provide resources to clients. Clients access the resources from server. So which type of resources? Maybe file sharing, directory sharing, database sharing, web servers, web application share, whatever it may be. So for example, we are all going to internet, or you are going to use your mobile through internet. You are connecting to so many websites. You are watching movies. You are playing games. You are downloading songs. You are downloading apps. From where you are downloading? So through internet, you are connecting to the particular the related server. So depending upon your requirement, you are watching the movies, you are playing the games, you are downloading the documents, you are downloading the songs, whatever it may be. So from servers, you are going to access all the resources. Now we are going to learn that server administration. So how to manage the Windows servers. So that is nothing but a MCSE course, Microsoft Certified Solutions Expert. Windows Server Administration we are going to learn. So what is the main backbone of Windows servers? Why the companies they are using Windows servers? So in Windows Server, we have a powerful concept is there, that is centralization of administration. So Active Directory Domain Services, centralization of administration. So what is this centralization of administration? For example, we have a bank account. For example, ICICI Bank. I have the branch Amirpet, Hyderabad. So my account is there. So you can go for any ICICI branch across the India or across the world where the branches are available. You can go to the particular branch. You can deposit the money into your account. This is centralized. And also you can go for any ATM counter. By using your ATM card, you can withdraw the money. So this is centralized. In olden days, this type of centralization of administration not available. That is the reason where our account is there, we have to go to the particular branch, we have to deposit the money. So whenever you withdraw the money also, so you have to go to your branch, so you have to fill the withdraw form, you have to withdraw the money. But nowadays, centralization, whenever you deposit the money from any branch, immediately it will update the centralized server. All the remaining branch offices connected to that centralized server, immediately within fraction of seconds your account will be updated. Like that, whenever we withdraw money from any ATM counter, immediately you are getting a message. So you withdraw from 5,000 rupees the particular ATM, so immediately message will come. How it is coming? Because background there is a centralized server is there. For that centralization of administration purpose, we are going to use the Windows servers. So how this centralization of administration will work? For example, so we have the country India.com. This is the main domain controller. So who is managing all the states? Central government is there. So India.com, main domain controller. So in India, we have many states. 29 states are there. So ap.india.com, child domain. Telangana.india.com, child domain. Again in Telangana, we have number of districts are there. So Hyderabad.telangana.india.com. So India.com is main domain controller. Telangana is child domain controller under India. In Telangana, again under another child domain, grandchild domain controller, Hyderabad. Again in Hyderabad, we have number of areas are there. So Himayat Nagar or Nallakonta, Amirpet, Kukatpalli, so many. So amirpet.hyderabad.telangana.india.com, kukatpalli.hyderabad.telangana.india.com, like orissa.india.com, Uttar Pradesh.india.com. Like that, we have number of states. Those are the child domains. So who is controlling? Main domain controller is controlling all these child domains. The child domain controllers are controlling and grandchild domain controllers. Like this, tree structure domain environment supports by Windows servers and forest level domains. So what is forest? A forest is a collection of trees. Like Windows server supports a collection of domains. So India.com, Tata.com, US.com, UK.com. So combination of domain also we can manage. So this is the main feature of Windows Server. If anybody asks you the question, centralization of administration. We have a powerful Active Directory database services are available in Windows servers. And also the softwares which supports only Windows, Microsoft Office, Microsoft SharePoint, so Microsoft SQL Server, so Microsoft Azure, Microsoft Hyper-V, so Microsoft, like so many Microsoft related products if we want to use, so we can go for the Windows servers. And .NET, Visual Basic, C++, C Sharp, like so many products which are from Microsoft. So we are going to run Windows servers. Next, this is the main purpose you have to remember. So we have two types of operating systems, client OS and server OS. Servers provide resources to clients and clients access the resources from server. So in Windows Server administration, so what are the concepts we are going to discuss? So installation of your Windows Server. For example, this is very important for administrators because you are going to install the operating systems, you are going to manage the operating systems. You have to understand the installation process. So whenever you want to install any operating system, so what you require, generally I am asking the question. So you want to install Windows or Linux or whatever it may be, one operating system you are going to install into your laptop. So first the requirement is hardware. So you can go to the market, you can buy the laptop or desktop. You can bring your laptop or desktop from the market. Then you can take the Windows server or Linux server, whatever it may be, which operating system you want to install. So then you can understand about the partitions. How many partitions supported by hard disk? What are the primary partitions? What are the extended partitions? So you have to know about the knowledge on the disk partitions. So while installing the Windows server, generally they will ask the question, what is the operating system directory in Windows? So generally, what is the operating system directory in Windows? Everybody knows. Go to my computer here. You can see C drive. C drive is the OS directory, programmable files, Windows folder. So many system related softwares here related, operating system related softwares located under C drive. So C is corrupted, means your operating system is corrupted. So you have to reinstall the Windows operating system, whatever it may be, server or client. So before going to install, you have to know the what are the minimum requirements to install the server. So how much space we have to allocate. So what are the primary partitions? What are the extended partitions? We are going to discuss here. Next, see, whenever you install any Windows operating system, by default, they are in workgroup model. So you can go to your laptop, you can check my computer properties. Here you can see computer name, full computer name, workgroup equal to workgroup only. So by default, if it is client OS, if it is server OS, by default, Windows operating system is in workgroup only. But we are going to set up the Windows server as a Active Directory domain server. So workgroup model, domain model, two models we have. So any operating system, whether it is server OS or client OS, if you install, by default, they are in workgroup model only. So they will ask what is workgroup model, what is domain model. In interview, they will ask the question, So did you work on domain environment or work group environment? They will ask the question to you. So if you put the resume as a Windows administrator, they will ask the question, are you working in domain model or work group model? So what is work group model? Generally, they will ask the question. So in work group model, so no computer can control any other computer. So each computer having same rights. So sometimes one server can act as a server, one system can act as a client. So depending upon the requirement. In our group model, we cannot put more thousands of systems. We can put only a less number of the systems, 20 to 50 systems only you can manage in our group model. So those things we are going to discuss, what is work group model, what is domain model. And before going to discuss work group model and domain model, so we are going to discuss about IP addressing and logical topologies. These questions generally they will ask in interview. IP addressing, what are the different types of IP addressings we have? We have classes of IP addresses are there. So like A class, B class, C class, D class, E class. In that again, public IPs are there, private IP address ranges are there. So after installation of Windows Server, we are going to discuss about the basic networking part, IP addressing, hardware part, and the logical topologies. What are the different topologies of networkings? Bash network, mesh network, star network, like different network technologies we are having. So we are going to discuss that one. Then what is work group model? What is domain model? We are going to discuss about the work group environment and domain environment. So after seeing some features in work group environment, so we can promote my Windows server as a domain server. So how to promote this? Then we have to configure Active Directory services. So when you configure Active Directory services on Windows server, so you can promote your Windows server as a domain controller. So a domain controller can manage thousands of computers in the network. It can control thousands of systems in the network. I am the main domain controller. I can manage thousands of systems. I can give the permissions. I can remove the permissions. I can allow. I can deny. Anything I can do from one server, I can control thousands of machines. Windows clients, Windows server, servers, member clients. Then next question they will ask, what is member server? What is member client? So I have a domain controller. In my company, I have 1,000 systems are there. Out of 1,000, 700 systems are Windows desktop operating systems, my client operating systems. Remaining 200 to 300 systems are server OS. So adding the server operating system to the domain is nothing but a member server. So adding the client operating system to the domain is nothing but a domain client. So member server or member client or domain client. Adding server OS to the domain controller is nothing but a member server. Adding the client OS to the domain controller is nothing but a domain client. So first step, installation of Windows server. Then we can discuss about IP addressing and logical topologies. Then we can discuss about what is work group model, what is domain model. Then we can promote the Windows server as a domain controller. Then we can add in my network systems which are available in my company. I can add into the domain controller. If it is a server OS, it becomes as a member server. If it is a client OS, it becomes as a member client. Then user management. So how to create the user accounts, local users. Before going to configure domain controller, we can create the local users. You can see any operating system, the user accounts must be available by default. The system can create the default user account, administrator account, but as a user, as an administrator, see here local users and groups. Click on local users, here administrator account, default system account, guest account. These two are the default accounts, administrator account and guest account, built-in accounts. Then Sahasra user I created. Now if you want to create another user, right click, new user. Here you can create the user accounts. So this is local users. See here, local users and groups. But when you promote your server as a domain controller, you can create the domain users. So here we are going to discuss user management. What are local users? What are domain users? They will ask the question. What are local users? Local users can log into the particular local system only. For example, if I create a user account in my laptop, they can only log in from my laptop only. They cannot log in from your laptop because the user account created in my laptop. So in your laptop, you can create another user account. He can log into your laptop only. But real-time scenarios, my company is a domain model company. I have a domain server is there. I can create the user accounts on domain server from client side, which is added to your domain controller from any system. I have 1,000 systems. You can go for any system. You can log into domain controller. So a domain user can log on from any system into the domain. Whenever it is a client of domain, you can go for any client, you can log in. But in local users can log on from local system only. Or if you want to create, for example, I create a user account name Ali. So today Ali worked from one computer. He logged in, he completed his work. Tomorrow he came to the office. That desktop using by others. So he cannot log in from that computer. Again, he can go for another computer, but he cannot log in because that account is not there. So again, we have to create another account on second system. Like that, if the user wants to log in 10 systems, I have to create Ali account on all the 10 systems. That is local users. But in domain environment, I can create only one Ali user account on the domain server. He can log on from any computer to the domain, he can work. So whatever the work he is doing, it shows in the local computer. Sometimes we can keep the work into the domain environment, domain server also. That is we are going to discuss here. User management, local users, domain users. Differences between local users and domain users. So we are going to discuss in that class. Next, permissions. So permissions means we have share level permissions are there, security level permissions are there. For example, I want to share this AWS folder, right click, or Linux folder or Windows folder. So right click. So here share with specific people. So to whom you want to share, if you know the username, you can write the username. So if you want to share everyone, select everyone, click on add. So everyone, I can give read write permission. I can share it. See, I am sharing, see, my data AWS folder I am sharing to everyone. So they can access my share because I given permissions. So security level permissions. Linux folder is there. Right click, click on properties. Here security, there is another option is there. Here I can add the users. So I can give the full controller. I can give the local permissions, whatever it may be. The particular user only can access my share. So previous share level permissions, everybody can access. Here I can give the full control or read only permissions or read write permissions. I can specify. These two types of permissions are available in Windows servers. So that is the reason. So we are going to discuss about permissions, share level permissions and security level permissions. So we have to configure these things. Then profiles. So this is also very important task in Windows Server administration. So whenever you logged into your laptop, automatically one profile has been created by the system. You can check who are working with laptops or desktops. When you log into the system, so you can have one profile that is called local profile. So everybody can access the local profile. Now I can see, go to my computer where this profile stores, go to C drive. So go to C drive. There is a folder you can identify users. Open this users folder. There is a username Sahasra. Double click on this. This is your entire profile. So your contacts, your documents, your desktop environment, your downloads, everything is saved here. This is your profile. By who create this profile? By default, when you log into the profile, automatically it creates. Now, if you want to check the profile, go to search, control panel. Here you can search advanced profile. See here, configure advanced user profile properties. See here, Vaishu Sahasra, computer name size 70 GB, local profile. See, profile type local, status is local. Like that, we have different types of profiles like roaming profiles. So local profile located in local server only. Roaming profile, from anywhere you can log in, whatever your data is there, they are going to be mount on the particular computer where you are logging. So here we are going to discuss about profiles, local profile and roaming profiles. And mandatory profiles is also there. We are going to discuss about different profiles. A profile is nothing but a user environment data. So if you log in, your profile will be active. If I log in, my profile will be active. So who logged into the server, their profiles automatically will be active. So those profiles, how to configure, we are going to discuss in this profiles class. Next to file server resource manager, FSRM. This is the new feature in Windows Server which is introduced from Server 2012. So by using FSRM, so I can, for example, I am showing you D drive. Right click on properties. Here see, there is an option quota. Generally, when we are working with our laptops, we are not going to check all these things because we don't use these things. But as a Windows Server administrator, we are going to learn Windows Server administration. You have to know all these options. So many people, they don't know these options are there in their laptops also. Is there quota? So show quota settings. Here enable quota management. Here limit the disk space. So as a Windows administrator, I can restrict the users to use. You can use this much of space only, 100 MB only, 500 MB only, 1000 MB only. Depending upon the requirement of users space, I can restrict. Otherwise, some early user logged into the server, he is copying movies, songs, games in his folder. So my D drive space is going to be full every time. Other users, they are giving the complaint. We don't have any free space in the D drive. Somebody, they are copying unnecessary data. So as a Windows administrator, you have to restrict. So how to restrict means, we have a concept is called FSRM. By using file server resource manager, we can configure the quotas, and also you can restrict the users to copy unwanted files. For example, I want to deny to copy audio files, video files, .exe files. I can restrict you. So don't copy audio files, don't copy video files, don't copy executable files. I can restrict. If you try to create, I can get the message. So FSRM, I can generate the storage reports. So in that storage reports, I can identify so particular user, uh, whatever the user, for example, Nikhil user is there. So Nikhil user try to copy some audio files and video files. So I can generate the storage report. Then I can understand. So Nikhil, you try to copy, don't copy this type of files. I can give the message to Nikhil. Like that, user wise, I can configure storage reports. So by using FSRM, you can restrict the quotas, and also you can generate the storage reports, and also you can restrict the users to copy unwanted, unrelated files. So this is FSRM, new concept which is introduced from Windows Server 2016, sorry, 2012. Next, organizational units and delegation control. So organizational units is the containers. For example, I have a domain controller. So how many organizations or how many departments I can manage? So single I cannot manage. I can divide them. Sales OU, managers OU, team leaders OU, testing and development OU. So different department wise, you can go for any university. There is a biological department, physics departments, maths department, accounts department, principal department, lecturers, like that, different types of departments we have. So that is nothing but organization. It is a container in domain environment. Sales OU, managers OU. So I can keep the related people into that one. So I can manage easily. So easy administration. For easy management purpose, we can create the organizational units in the domain environment. And delegation control. So delegation control is nothing but assigning the system administrator privileges to normal users. For example, I am a system administrator. I can log into the Windows server as an administrator account. I can do anything. But in company's environment, we can appointment so many administrators, junior administrators, some senior administrators, like that we can appoint. But they are not going to give full control on server to you. So if you joined as a Windows administrator, depending upon the tasks, so which role they assign to you. So for example, I want to give you the role creating the groups and users. So only that particular role only I can assign to you. Other user, disk management, he can only create partitions, format partitions. That role I can give to other person, some other person. So he can manage a IAS server, DNS server. He can manage group policies. Like as a administrator, you can separate the roles and assign the roles to the particular normal users is nothing but a delegation control. So you cannot run, you cannot play his role, he cannot play your role. So assigning the administrator privileges to normal user is nothing but a delegation control. Next to distributed file system. Distributed file system means I have 100 servers in my company. All 100 servers, they are going to be share their folders across the LAN, across the network. So 100 shares means 100 folders will display to you. So it is confused to you how to access which folder. That is the reason by configuring DFS, I can make it centralized sharing folder. So already we discussed centralized. From single location, you can manage anything like that. All 100 folders which are shared from their computers, as a Windows administrator, I can set up on DFS server. I can keep all the 100 servers into a centralized location. Then just you can open your centralized folder. You can get all the information. So that is DFS. So sharing the resources online from a centralized location is nothing but a distributed file system. Next to logical structure of Active Directory. So what is the logical structure means? Domain controller. So additional domain controller, child domain controller, grandchild domain controller, tree root domains, and forest level domains. That is that are logical structure we are going to discuss in this class, Active Directory, because I have a main domain controller. I have 1,000 systems added to my domain controller. I have thousands of users are there. If my domain controller is down, what happens? So everything will be down. So nobody can access the server. No servers can access your server. All the databases and whatever you are sharing from your server, everything will down, but cannot be down on real-time scenarios. How do? You can configure the backup domain controller. Whenever the main domain controller is down, so you can access your information from additional domain controller. That is nothing but a backup domain controller. So we are going to discuss in the logical structure of Active Directory how to set up ADC, how to transferring the roles of Active Directory. We have 5 roles are there: FSM roles, flexible single master operation roles. So how to transfer the roles from main domain controller to additional domain controller. If main domain controller is down, completely down, how do you make additional domain controller as a main domain controller? So everything we are going to discuss here: roles of Active Directory, how to transfer the roles, how to seize the roles. Next, group policies is another backbone of Windows Server. Sitting from one location, you can control thousands of systems. For example, I want to disable timing. Time I want to disable. I want to disable task manager. I want to disable my computer icon, network icon, and recycle bin on the desktop. So as a Windows administrator, by applying the group policies, you can restrict thousands of computers and thousands of users. So computer configurations you can restrict, and user configurations also you can restrict. So that is group policies. And also by using group policies, so you can apply the group policies on domain level, site level, and OU level. So depending upon the requirement, I want to restrict only sales people. don't access my computer icon. So I can restrict. I want to restrict to managers to access network icon. I can restrict. So like that. So depending upon the requirement of our environment, so you can apply the group policies on domain level for all, everybody in the domain. OU level, the particular related OU only. So we can apply the group policies. Next to trusted relationship between the domains. So what is this trusted relationship? For example, you are a Gmail account holder. I am a Yahoo account holder. Mail, Yahoo Mail, Gmail, Yahoo Mail. As a Gmail account holder, you are able to send a mail to Yahoo or Rediff or MSN.com or Hotmail.com. As a Yahoo account holder, I am able to send a mail to Gmail people. So Gmail is the different domain, Yahoo is the different domain. But we are able to send mails to each other because of trusted relationship between the domains. Like I have a abc.com company. I want to trusted with xyz company. We are going to both we are going to together we are going to work. Then I can trust that company trust to my company. So we can provide the trusted relationship between the two domains. So abc.com users can log into the xyz.com depending upon their work. xyz.com users, they can log into the abc.com domain. So trusted relationship between the domain. So here we are going to discuss about trusted relationship between the two domains, that is domains and trusts. Next, global catalog is the main server in the which is having the 5 FSM roles. That is nothing but a global catalog server. And sites and services. Sites and services are nothing but different geographical location networks we are going to communicate. For example, Bank of America, there is a company. They are having the main branch in US. The main domain controller is located in US. Additional domain controller is located in India. And they have many branches in Australia, like New Zealand, some Germany, like that. They have one number of branches. So all these branches works together only because that is a domain controller. So they are combined to work. But India is different site, US is different site, UK is different site, Australia is different site. So we have to communicate between the sites because here IP address network is different. US IP address network is different. Different IP address networks we cannot communicate. But in sites and services, so you can make it communicate between different geographical location lands and RODC. So RODC is nothing but a read-only domain controller. So we nowadays also we have a remote areas are there, maybe forest level, some remote villages are there. There also the bankings they are providing their banking resources. But in that remote areas, you cannot keep read-write domain controllers because anybody can do anything there. And internet access is also very less. Internet signals also very less on the remote areas. That is the reason you have to keep it one RODC server, read-only domain controller. From my main domain controller, whatever the resources they require, I will do from this only, this domain controller only. Automatically it will replicate on that server. But they cannot do any modifications there. It will not replicate. So RODC server, how to set up, we are going to discuss in read-only domain controller class. Next, DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. So by default, any operating system protocol, IP addressing protocol is DHCP only. So by default, you can get the DHCP IP address from DHCP server. For example, you can take your mobile, you can check the go to settings, you can check your mobile networking information. So you can get one IP address. Every mobile has one IP address. So without a IP address, you cannot connect to any system. So automatically, depending upon your area, for example, if you are in Amirpet, so in Amirpet related network provide one DHCP IP address to you. So from Hyderabad to if you go Chennai, so when you enter into the Chennai, So Chennai network that provide that people, they will provide one IP address to your mobile. So DHCP automatic IP addresses. Every time they will change depending upon the locations. Like that in real time scenarios, I have 1,000 computers are there. I cannot go for each and every system. I cannot give the IP address. It is very difficult. That is the reason what I can do. I can set up on DHCP server. Automatically, when the clients log into the when the clients are booting the system, automatically one IP address allocated to the client. Next to DNS, domain name service. So DNS resolves host names to IP addresses and IP addresses to host names, because you cannot remember 500 systems IP addresses. So 192.168.0.122.10.122.182.168, you cannot remember like that. So you can remember the sites with names. For example, you can go to the command prompt. So I don't know the IP address of Flipkart. Go to NS lookup. Now type www.flipkart.com. See, it shows the IP address 163.53.78.110. Now type www.gmail.com. It shows the IP address 142.250.67.37. www.yahoo.com. So 202.165.107.50, 107.49, like this. See, every website or every system by default, they can communicate with IP addresses only, but they will not communicate with names. But we are communicating with names now. So how it is possible means because of because of DNS server. DNS server resolves names to addresses. If your DNS server is down, your websites will not be open. Sometimes you can check whenever you open any website, DNS probe, DNS problem came, DNS not resolved your website. These errors will come. Now I connected to internet. I given the command ns lookup. Now you can check in your laptop also. So type the IP address of your flipkart.com. Sorry, type the name of your domain. Automatically shows the IP address. So if it is not showing means DNS is not working, your website will not work. So DNS resolves names to addresses and addresses to names. So how to set up this DNS server? We are going to discuss domain name system or domain name service. Next to IIS, Internet Information Service. So configuration of websites in Windows. So www.gmail.com website is opening. www.flipkart.com website is opening. How it is opening? How to set up the website? So web pages designed by some HTML programmers. But as a Windows administrator, you have to make it that website available to the public. How to make it? We are going to discuss. IIS. How to configure different types of websites. Single IP, single website. Single IP, multiple websites. Port-based websites. Dedicated websites. So different types of websites, how to configure, we are going to discuss in IIS, Internet Information Service, and FTP, File Transfer Protocol. So FTP is a file server to copy the data from one server to clients. For example, we are all opening one website. For example, I am going to open one website. www. Telugu songs or Telugu movies. For example, I'm telling you, new Telugu songs download. Click on that, Ghana.com. So you can go for the particular website, whatever you want to download the files, you can go to there. So you can download the files. So how it is possible? This is FTP server. So anybody, they can go to the particular site. So which songs you want to download, right click, you can save the link or you can download. See right side, there is an option download. This is FTP server. How to set up that FTP server in your company environment? Because in my company, so many developers are there. They need some tasks every day. So what I can do as a Windows administrator, I can configure one FTP server. I can keep the folders, Java folder, .NET folder, so like related files I can give. So by evening, they have to update their whatever the programming skills they developed today. By evening, they can upload the server. So FTP is a file server to download and upload the files from server to clients and clients to server. How to set up this FTP server in Windows, we are going to discuss here. Next to WDS, Windows Deployment Services. For example, your company has got one new project. That project requires 50 Windows 10 operating systems and 50 Windows 8 operating systems, client OSs, for development purpose. So as a Windows administrator, 50 Windows 10 operating systems and 50 Windows 8, totally 100 operating systems you have to install. Maybe some systems are located in Hyderabad, some systems are located in Chennai, some systems are located in, they can keep different places. But you cannot go for each and every system side, you cannot install the operating system. What do? You can configure one server, Windows Deployment Services. By configuring Windows WDS, you can install the number of operating systems within 1 hour or 2 hours through the network. So installing the number of Windows operating systems through network, this is nothing but a network installation, is called WDS, Windows Deployment Services. So we can set up, you can take the images of all versions of operating systems like Windows 10 image, Windows 7 image, depending upon the requirement, you can take the image copies of all operating systems and you can install through network. And software deployment services. Software deployment services is a very powerful concept in Windows server administration, because I want to install MS Office software on 100 clients at a time. 100 clients, MS Office I want to install. So in our system only, if I want to install MS Office, I can take the MS Office CD or DVD or ISV image file. So I can open that, I can give next, click, 10 to 15, 20 minutes it will take. The 100 clients I want to install MS Office at a time within half an hour, depending upon how much network bandwidth we have. Then you can configure software deployment services. MS Office or Windows related drivers, Windows related software, MySQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server I want to install on 100 clients at a time, because I have a project came. I need to install MySQL Server on 100 clients, 200 clients at a time within 2 hours. So you can configure software deployment services. While the systems login, automatically the software is going to be installed. So this is, so Windows deployment services is for installing the operating system. Software deployment services is installing the softwares like MS Office, Microsoft drivers, whatever the Windows related softwares. These two we have to remember. They will ask what is WDS, what is software deployment, SDS, software deployment service. WDS is for installing the operating systems. SDS is installing for the softwares. Next, routing and remote access. So routing and remote access is nothing but your private servers can communicate with your public servers, because every company have the private network and public network. Private network, all the database servers, critical application servers, we are going to manage privately. So we cannot expose to public. So because important critical data we are going to develop every day. So those are not going to be public. But sometimes the private server should be updated. So real times every day we have to update our servers. So when the private servers require their updations, we have to give some public access. So then we have to configure routing and remote access, communicating the private network to the public network. In the particular period of time only I can give. So this is the 1 hour I am giving. Please update your servers. After 1 hour, your public network disconnected. So then we have to configure routing and remote access. So how to access private network to the public network, and remote desktop services, how to configure. Very simple. How to configure the storage, different hard disks, how to connect to the Windows server, how to configure different to volume, simple volume, striped volume, spanned volumes, mirrored volumes, RAID 5 volumes. Like we have different volumes, so different storage technologies we are having. So we are going to discuss in that class. Next, Windows server backup. How to take the backup of entire server, entire folder, particular files, particular directories. So Windows server backup and restore. Whenever the data is deleted, how to restore your data from your already taken backups. So these are the uh, chapters we are going to discuss in our Windows server administration, because so Windows Microsoft Azure is a fast growing cloud environment. So whenever anybody going to learn cloud environment, either AWS is the top level cloud provider, next place is goes to Azure, but Azure is fast growing. So whenever you are going to learn cloud environment, you must have the strong knowledge on Windows server administrations, because so you have to manage your Windows servers in cloud environment. So cloud environment, no need to, it is not a simple thing, just launching the instances. In cloud environment, as a cloud administrator, you have the knowledge and strong knowledge and server administration. For example, so I want to launch one Windows server. Example I am showing, whether it is Microsoft Azure or AWS, same scenarios. So I am going to log in my AWS management console. Within fraction of seconds, I want to launch Windows Server. So it is not possible physically. Physically, if you want to use Windows Server, you have to buy the hardware, you have to take the CD or DVD, you have to install it. So it will take 1 hour time. But within 2 minutes, I will show you Windows Server. So go to AWS management console. So I am logging to my account. So within 5 minutes, I am going to access my Windows Server. This is cloud environment, AWS management console. Azure also same concept. So here running instance is 0. Now I want to launch my Windows server. Click on launch instance. So Amazon Linux, Red Hat Linux, SUSE Linux, Ubuntu server, Microsoft Windows Server 2019 base. So Microsoft Windows Server 2016 base. So free eligible we have to select. Otherwise chargeable. So free eligible. Click on select. So free tier eligible. Okay. Configure instant details. So leave it defaults. Add storage. 30 GB of the space it is allocating for our instance. Add tags. So if you want to add tag, you can add tag name, Windows Server. Click on configure security group. So RDP remote desktop protocol, port number TCP, port number 3389, protocol is TCP, review and launch. Click on launch. Select the key pair here, WinDS key. Already I created that key. Launch instances. So click on view instance. See, within a minute, my server is coming. Windows server is launching. So if I want to install that now, so I have to create a machine, I have to install OS, it will take 1 hour time. But within 2 minutes, I am going to launch my server. This is cloud environment. See, running. So I want to connect the server. Click on connect. So you have to download the remote desktop file. To log into your Windows servers, you need remote desktop. So file is downloaded. Now you need password. Get password. So password not available yet. It will take 4 minutes time. Just a minute. 2 minutes it will allocate. So automatically they will give one password to you. So now choose file. So DS win key, that is the private key. We have to select the key authentication purpose. Win DS key, decrypt password. So this is the password. Copy the password. Open remote desktop. So click on connect. So copy the paste the password. Click on OK. Yes. See, now my Windows server is launching. See, this is Windows Server 2016. So immediate 2 to 3 minutes, I launched my server. So this is 750 hours free of cost. See, in cloud environment, so as a cloud administrator, you have to know about the Windows Server administration also. So just launching means it is a 2 minutes matter, but after launching, they will ask you, set up one Active Directory. I need one Active Directory. Client will ask you. I need some DHCP server. Client will ask you. So you have to know the knowledge and complete administration. Only learning the cloud computing is not usable. They will not. They will ask many questions on administration, server administrations. So this is my Windows server. So I can go through the administration part here. So this is server manager. So I can set up the IP address. I can give the host name. I can configure the Active Directory. So everything I can do. These things we are going to do. In our administration classes, we are going to discuss about server management. So add roles and features. Click on tools. By default, this is workgroup system. Now you can check local server. So by default, it is server OS or client OS. It is workgroup model only. So you can enable, you can promote your server as a domain controller. See, this is workgroup only. Server OS also workgroup only. Just now I explained you. By default, every system has a DHCP protocol. So by default, but we are going to assign the static IP addresses because we are going to learn the server administration. So like this, see, host name, instance ID, public IP address, private IP address, instance size 22.micro, availability zone AP South 1A, architecture AMD 64 processor, total memory is 1 GB, network performance low to moderate. See, within fraction of seconds, I launched my Windows instance. So this Windows server administrations we are going to learn. So I'm closing this one. I am terminating because if you are not terminate, they are going to be chargeable. Just terminate. So like in our environment, how we are going to see, I am going to open my VMware workstation. So here see Windows Server 2016, Windows Backup Server, Linux RHL 8 AM batch, Linux 930 batch, Windows Server batch, RHL 8 PM batch, 6 AM batch, 7 AM batch, like that. So you have this is the virtualization technology. Without disturbing your laptop, you can install one VMware workstation software. Top of that, if you want to install Windows or Linux or whatever it may be, you can install. So for that, you need to create a machine. Click on File, New Virtual Machine. If I want to install Windows Server, so I can install it. So in cloud computing, that is ready-made. But here, you have to install. Select this one. Install the operating system later. Which OS, Linux or Windows? Windows. Windows which version? Windows we have so many versions are there. 2000 Server 16. Next. So next. So 60 GB space, 30 GB is enough, or 25 GB also you can select. So one machine is required. I am creating machine. See, Windows Server machine is created. Now I need software. So right click, settings, go to CD DVD, use ISO image files. Nowadays we are using ISO images only. Click on browse. Go to where your ISO copied. I copied into E drive. Softwares folder is there. Here ESX server, Red Hat servers, Red Hat server, Red Hat server, Solaris server, VMware servers. So Windows Server. So Windows Server 2016. So click on OK. So power on this virtual machine. Now the installation process will start. So I am installing the Windows Server now. This is virtualization technology. Top of the virtualization, cloud implements. So we have to know server physical infrastructure, virtual infrastructure. Top of the virtual infrastructure, cloud software will be installed. So Windows Server operating system installation process is started. Simple. So first of all, we have to strong knowledge on the server administration. Then you can looking for the cloud. So cloud simply you can access your instances. So just now 2 minutes I opened Windows Server, but without knowing any knowledge on Windows Server, after launching, what you can do? You cannot do anything, but you have to do something. Then we are going to learn the administration part. So this is, see, without disturbing my laptop, I can work with my laptop OS. I can work with my Windows Server. I can practice here. Everything I can practice. I can power on number of machines depending upon. If you have 8 GB RAM, you can power on 4 machines at a time. If you have 16 GB RAM, you can power on 8 machines at a time. Now see the installation process is going on. So select the language, we click next. So click on install now. See, in AWS, just I launched one instance that is ready-made. But here we are installing, manually we are installing. After installation, they will keep it on cloud. Just they can power on. So it will open. So here we are going to do the partitions. So 30 GB of the space we selected. So depending upon the requirement of your OS, 10 GB, 20 GB, 25 GB, you can give the size of the partition to install the OS. So here Windows Server 2016 standard evaluation. This is core, means command prompt will come. So Windows 2 Server 2016 standard evaluation desktop experience. So graphical mode. So data center evaluation command prompt, data center evaluation desktop experience. So data center, we are not managing any data center servers. Just to practical purpose, you can select the standard evaluation. So you can also go for data center. There is no problem. But to practice purpose, standard evaluation is enough. Click next. So accept the license agreement. Click next. So custom install Windows only. Click on this. So this is the disk space. Select the disk, create one new partition. New. So I am giving only 25 GB. So remaining space I can use for D drive or E drive something. Click on apply. Okay. So I am dividing the hard disk. Click next. Select the primary partition. Click next. So installation process started. Oh, it will take half an hour to 40 minutes time. Then it will ask you set the password, then we can log into the server. So this is the session today. Anybody having any doubts, please ask me. Nikhil, do you have any doubts? Nikhil? Shushmita, do you have any doubts about the server administration Windows? Susmita, do you have any doubts? Samir Arora, do you have any queries on this? Sheikh Subhan, Samir Arora and Sheikh Subhan, do you have any queries, any doubts? See, we have a fresher jobs available in Windows Server Administration. So 0 to 5 years experience you can put. As a fresher also you can go for the jobs, because so many vacancies are in Windows Server Administration nowadays, because Azure is the fast growing cloud environment. So many Windows servers only they are going to be launched. So they need Windows Server Administration persons. So they are going to start so many data centers across the world. So Windows Server Administration, because Microsoft Azure own product of Microsoft only, Windows Server also. So first they will give the preference for Windows servers only on their cloud environment. So they required so many Windows Server Administration people. So you can have jobs on anywhere. As a fresher also you can get, as an experienced person also, if you can put the experience, you can get the jobs. This is the fast growing cloud environment, Microsoft Azure. They need Windows Server administrators. So first we are going to start basic installation of Windows Server, installation of Windows clients, and what is hardware, what is networking, different types of networking topologies, how the data transfer from one computer to another computer, then what is a workgroup environment, then what is domain environment, then our course will be start. So before going to start our course, first we are going to discuss about the basics of hardware, networking, network topologies, different types of IP addressing systems, what is LAN, what is WAN, what is MAN. So these things, then we can start the administration part. So I can give the hundreds of active directory interview questions and answers, and also I will send the resumes from fresher to experienced person resumes. So tomorrow onwards to the batch will start, new batch. You have to contact to DURGASOFT people. They will send to you the feedback form to you. You can get to a mail, feedback mail. There they can have all the contact numbers and emails. So further contact, you can go through the DURGASOFT. So total course duration 30 to 35 days. So all the softwares and documentation, everything we will provide. So recording videos, all the recording videos will come. Every class, when the class is completed, the recording video session is sent to your mail ID. You can get one link, you can access the link. You can see the recordings also. Sometimes if you miss any class, automatically record will come. You can go through the class. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the next classes. Is there any other queries? So you can get the feedback mail within half an hour and 1 hour. You can go through that mail, you can contact the persons. So certification is not required for freshers, but if you want to put the experience of 2+, 3+, they will ask certification, because while you are putting the experience, at least you have to do one certification. So Microsoft, we have the certifications MCP, one paper. So I will show you the certifications. The certifications you can see. Yes, you can easily clear the certification. See, this is Windows Server 2012. So 410, 411, 412, 413, 414. So if you write any one exam, you can become as a Microsoft certified professional. If you write 3 exams, you can MCSA. So MCSA means Microsoft Certified Solutions Associate. So if you complete all 5 exams, you can become as a Microsoft Certified Solutions Architect. But no need to write all certifications at a time. It is waste of the money. Just you can go through one certificate. That is enough. And when you joined as a real-time company, they will provide the free of cost. They will give the voucher to you. Then you can write the exam. But when you put the experience in your resume, so before going to that, you can complete one exam. So you can easily clear. So whenever you want to write the exams, please contact me. I can know the centers who are having. So we can schedule the exams there. Now see, this is Windows Server 2016, 740, 741, 742, 743, 744, 745. So you can go through any one. So installing storage and communicating Windows Server 2016, networking with Windows Server 70, 741. So any one exam you can complete. 740, 741, 742. If you write 3 exams, you can become as a MCSA. So these are the examination point of view. So no need to write all the certificate. Fresher, no need any certification. If you want to put experience, you can get one certificate. Is there any queries? Okay, tomorrow we will meet. Just go through the feedback form. Because in February we have so many openings for Windows Server administration. Already I told you the fast growing Microsoft Azure cloud is implementing on all the different regions across the world. You can get a number of options. So we have a time of 1 month time is there. So meanwhile we can get the good experience on Windows Server administration, and all the documentations, everything, questions and answers I will provide to you. Then we can go through that. So meanwhile, concentrate on the complete practicing of Windows Server administration tomorrow onwards. Course fees is 5,000. So with recording videos, documentation, interview point of view, questions and answers, and uh, sample resumes, everything you can get the mail. Okay, thank you all. Tomorrow we will connect. Tomorrow onwards, I will start the first session of Windows Server Administration. Okay, thank you all. So go through the feedback mail.